All right, so I'm here with OG Cartoon, aka Toon, from the East Side, Phi Trade AGCs, Avalon Gangsters, South Park. Um, where were you born?
I was born in Los Angeles,
Okay.
on the east side.
We're gonna start off with the fractured relationship you had with your dad. I guess you didn't even know your dad until you were about 14 years old, huh?
Yeah, I had never really, matter of fact, I had never met him until I was 13.
And what was that like, the first meeting?
Uh, man, I had mixed emotions about it. I didn't, I ain't gonna lie, I didn't want to meet him, period. But moms, found out I was banging and, from the, between the age of 12 and 13, she couldn't really stop me. She just, sent me out of town and sent me to different places. And I would still make my way back. And she figured her last resort was to send me to my pops. So she told me one day, she said, look, I can't do nothing with you. I'm finna send you to your daddy. And lo and behold, at the time, Pop stayed in Inglewood. I didn't want to go. I didn't want nothing to do with Inglewood, nor did I really want anything to do with him. But now, mom's pushed the issue. So, I ended up at his house.
How long did it last living with your dad from the incident from when your mom first dropped you off there to where you tried to poison him, I guess?
Homie, I ain't gonna lie, it lasted about 3 months when she, from the day one to the day I left. No, it lasted that long because she sent me there like during the summertime. And so I didn't have to worry about, the school situation at the time. I just stayed in the house. And as time went on, he would always wonder why I wouldn't go outside, run up down the street and play, kick with all the other little dudes up and down the street, and I didn't want to tell him, hey, I didn't get along with nobody over here. So it came to a head when school started. And I had been telling him, look, I can't go to school over here. And he didn't want to hear it because he old. And, you got to look, this was back in the 70s. So he didn't really understand. And when school came about, the doo-doo hit the fan.
So you got into a squabble at the check-in at the school.
Yeah.
That was kind of deliberate, right? You wanted to sabotage the whole thing. What was that all about?
It was on purpose, because I kept telling him, like, when we went to go get school clothes, he didn't realize what 90% of what I got was blue. Like I say, Pops was old, he really from New Orleans, and he didn't know what was happening. So I kept telling him, look, I can't go to school. I can't go to school out here. And he didn't, you going to school. Okay, cool. So, day one check-in, first day of school. Once I got there, hey, it was the other side. And, my little mind was working at the time like, man, I got to do something to show him that I cannot go to this school. I can't, I don't want nothing to do with this school. So, we sitting in there, we waiting to see we waiting to see the principal or check in or do something. And, a couple of dudes were coming in with red rags on at that time. So, I figured, hey, let me go ahead and make my statement right now to show them how much I mean I can't go to this school. So, I jumped up and just took off on the dude.
When you said the other side, at that time in the late 70s, it had to be the Inglewood families.
Right.
And I don't think there was too many other hoods. I don't think Crenshaw Mafia wasn't out until like 80.
Yeah.
Neighborhood Pyru came out in 81.
No, it wasn't number families at that
Just
time.
families, huh?
Right.
Yeah. So it worked. You end up having to go home, and you didn't have to go to school.
Yeah, didn't have to go to school. He was tripping on me the whole way home. I thought he was gonna hit me. I'm leaning on the car like, man, this fool better not put his hands on me. But I got up out of that situation, and end up getting into another one. So I'll say about 3 to 4 days after the incident at school, I'm kicking it, and his wife told me to get up and wash the dishes. And, at that time, my older cousin told me, a man don't wash dishes. So I was under the impression that, men don't wash dishes. So I wasn't fit to wash nothing. So I didn't do it. And Pops hit me in the head with a broom. He didn't hit me hard. The little straw part, he just really tapped me. And when I looked, he like, man, did she tell you to wash the dishes? So I was mad. I went in there and started breaking them. He was going to work. And she told me, leave up out of here. You breaking the dishes. I'm going to tell your Pops when he get home. I didn't give a dang. I didn't want to wash the dishes. So, she kicked me out. I didn't wash them. So during that time, while both of them was going to work, I was kind of, I was a bad little dude at the time. So I'm like, man, this fool hit me with a broom. I'm gonna show him. And so I took some, I figured I was gonna poison him and run off. I took some lighter fluid from that you light your charcoal lighter fluid or whatever, and I put it in his alcohol and thought he was gonna drink it and pass out and die or something. And he didn't. When he came home from work, he smelled it and commenced to putting hands on me. I barely made it out of there alive. You know, oil and sugar don't mix like that. So when he smelled it, he called me, "What you trying to do to me?" I'm like, "I ain't trying to do nothing to you." And he hit me and it knocked me over the couch. And when I was getting up, he tried to bash my head in with a trophy, some type of little trophy he had. And I moved to the side. It went about that deep into the wall. And I'm like, "Oh, you know, this fool trying to hurt me for real." And I broke wide and got up out of there, told moms, you know. She was like, "I ain't got to go back." And so I didn't go back that day. But I waited a couple of days. I knew they scheduled, and I went back and destroyed his house.